What's clear is that environmentalism has moved south in its pull, and it's about survival. It's not about lifestyle choices, it's not about polar bears, it's about people. And climate change has emerged as the single greatest barrier to human development, to poverty eradication. So you have all of these groups that have traditionally been focused on issues of economics, trade, poverty, debt, like Jubilee South, like World Development Movement, like Action Aid, like Oxfam. These are not traditional environmental groups, but they're all here in Copenhagen, and then creating common cause with the huge environmental groups like Greenpeace. And it's a new ballgame, and it's a very powerful counterforce to the pressures that we see inside the Bella Center from Europe and the United States to undo the gains of the Kyoto Protocol. This is all about power. Right? Everything that's going on here is about power. Everyone agrees that climate change, everyone except for a few crazy American senators, agrees that climate change is real, that it requires urgent action. That's why all of these governments are meeting here. You look everywhere in Copenhagen, it's tick, 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 emergency, everything is about the urgency. But then you look at what's going on in the negotiations, and it's actually going in the opposite direction. The Kyoto Protocol, whose problem is that it's too weak, that it needs to be stronger, is being weakened further so that there aren't universal standards or monitoring. This is what the U.S. is pushing for. So why is that? Why, if we all agree that this is a crisis, are we not having action from our leaders that is commensurate to that crisis, to that need? And the only answer is power. That powerful forces, powerful economic forces, are pushing against that popular consensus. So there needs to be a very powerful mass movement that is pushing in the opposite direction. Obviously people want to get out of their commitments because they're not meeting their commitments. I think it's a good thing that the text was leaked, because we knew that this was the position of the U.S. and the EU, that we in the rich world, in the developed world, I'm part of that. My country, Canada, is the worst climate renegade of all, because my country signed the Kyoto Protocol. The United States didn't sign the Kyoto Protocol. So as their emissions have been increasing, they're not actually breaking a commitment that they made. Canada made the commitment, signed the Kyoto Protocol, agreed to reduce emissions, and instead increased emissions by 26%. And that's the most important thing to happen, that could happen at this conference, is a refusal to accept a bad deal, if a bad deal is proposed. The worst thing that can happen is the selling of a bad deal, of a weak deal, as a good deal. If we look at our hope for the environment, for really addressing climate change, the worst thing that could happen is for us to lose the sense of urgency about this crisis. And the way you lose the sense of urgency about the crisis is you pretend you're doing something when you're not actually doing something. So those are the stakes here.